Hey, welcome back. Today we're diving into one of the most exciting aspects of gaming, the combat. From simple button mashing to complex skill-based systems, combat in video games has come a long way. But how did we get here? We're taking a journey through the evolution of combat mechanics, from arcade classics to modern day masterpieces, showing you how it's gone from basic to breathtaking. Let's start at the beginning. Back in the early days of gaming, combat was all about simplicity. Think of games like Double Dragon, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter. The formula was straightforward. Press a few buttons, land some hits, and you win. But despite its simplicity, these games were fun, and more importantly, accessible. These early titles laid the groundwork for what combat would become. Even though the movesets were limited, the thrill of landing a finishing move or a perfect combo was huge. And let's not forget how games like Mortal Kombat introduced the concept of fatalities, those brutal, over-the-top finishing moves that became a defining feature of fighting games. Simple mechanics, but they had massive appeal. As technology advanced, so did combat mechanics. In the early 2000s, we saw the rise of skill-based combat, where mashing buttons wouldn't cut it anymore. Games like Devil May Cry and Ninja Gaiden pushed players to learn combos, master timing, and dodge enemies with precision. Devil May Cry in particular introduced stylish combat, where it wasn't just about winning, but also doing it with flair. Stringing together combos in creative ways became essential, and the game rewarded players who could juggle enemies while avoiding damage themselves. Ninja Gaiden, on the other hand, was unforgiving. You couldn't just rely on offense. You had to balance attack and defense, dodging and blocking at the perfect time. It pushed the boundaries of what combat could be and made players truly work for their victories. While action games were evolving, the RPG genre brought a whole new dimension to combat, which is strategy. Games like Final Fantasy VII and Baldur's Gate were groundbreaking, introducing turn-based or tactical combat systems that required planning and forethought. In these games, it wasn't just about the reflexes. Players had to think through their moves, manage resources like health and magic, and understand enemy weaknesses. Combat was about making the right decisions at the right time. And then came games like The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, which merged action and strategy beautifully. Combat here wasn't just about swinging a sword. You had to think about how to use magic, craft potions, and exploit enemy weaknesses. This blend of action and strategy became a hallmark of modern RPGs, making combat not just challenging, but deeply satisfying. Then we entered the Dark Souls era. This was a game changer, literally. Dark Souls introduced a methodical approach to combat where every move mattered. No more spamming attacks, each strike had to be carefully considered, and every enemy could be your last if you weren't careful. This tactical, punishing style of combat created a new subgenre, the Souls-like games. Titles like Bloodborne, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice followed in its footsteps, combining fluid action with punishing difficulty. Players had to learn enemy patterns, adapt their tactics, and use everything at their disposal to survive. The beauty of these games is that they teach you patience. There's a rhythm to the combat. You can't rush in without thinking, or you'll face a quick death. It's about timing, precision, and mastery. And when you finally defeat that boss you've been struggling with, it's the most rewarding feeling ever. Meanwhile, in the world of fighting games, combat was evolving in a different direction: competitive play. Games like Street Fighter 4 and Super Smash Bros. Brought fighting games into the esports spotlight. In these games, button mashing wasn't enough anymore. Players had to learn frame data, combo execution, and counter strategies to compete at the highest levels. And with the rise of online gaming, players could challenge others from all over the world, taking combat from casual to competitive. Fighting games like Mortal Kombat 11 and Tekken 7 continue to evolve, with each new iteration bringing more depth and complexity to their combat systems. Mastering these games takes dedication, and the rise of esports has pushed fighting games into a whole new realm of skill-based competition. Now let's take a look at where combat systems are today. One thing we've seen in recent years is a move toward dynamic and accessible combat that caters to both casual and hardcore gamers. Take Spider-Man for example. Combat is smooth and easy to pick up, but for players who want more depth, there are other advanced combos and gadgets to master. Or take Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where you can wield multiple weapons, use a variety of combat styles, and engage in massive battles. But here's the key. These games are designed so that anyone can jump in and have fun. Yet there's enough depth for those who want to master the systems. The balance between accessibility and depth has become the gold standard for modern games, ensuring they appeal to both newcomers and veterans. Looking ahead, the future of combat in games is exciting. We're seeing more games use realistic physics and AI to create truly immersive combat experiences. Games like Star Wars Jedi Survivor are pushing combat to new levels of realism, with lightsaber duels that feel authentic and enemy AI that reacts dynamically to your moves. We're also starting to see more VR and AR games, where combat will involve physical movement and real-world interaction. Imagine having to dodge, parry, and strike in real time, all within an immersive virtual environment. The potential here is mind-blowing, and who knows, maybe we'll soon see combat systems that adapt to your personal style, where enemies learn from your moves and force you to evolve your strategies. One thing's for sure, combat in video games is only going to get more immersive, more dynamic, and more challenging. Combat in video games has come a long way, from simple button mashing to intricate, skill-based systems that challenge and reward players. Whether you prefer fast-paced action or strategic, tactical battles, combat is the heart of what makes gaming so exciting. So, what's your favorite combat system? Drop it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the evolution of combat, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to see more gaming content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.